Right, guys, so what we're doing is we're being able to solve for missing values in things like ratios and fractions. So, a couple of examples from the textbook. It says, find the missing value in each of these proportions. Round your answers to the nearest hundredth where necessary. That means we could end up with decimals. So, this is the first question. We've got 8 divided by 22 is equivalent to 12 divided by something. Now, is there anyone that thinks I already know how to do this?
I think I got it.
Have a go?
X is 33 because 8 divided by 2 times 3 is 12, and 22 divided by 2 times 3 is 33.
I like the idea. So what he did was he used, we all paying attention? Yeah. Well, Brooklyn's already told us how to do it. Yeah. It's rather than, he is correct, exactly as I would have done it. What he said was, if we look at the equivalent stuff, we could say that 8 divided by 2, 22 divided by 2 is 4 over 11. Now, why is that useful? Well, that's useful because we went down to that, but from that one, we could go back up to, well, 4 goes to 12, nice and easy. How do we get to 4? From 4 to 12, we times by 3. So we need to times by 3. So that would make it 33. Okay? Which means that x has to equal one way. You want to write it like that? Now the second one, potentially we could try and use the same method, but I can already tell it's not going to be as easy. Anyone like to have a go? Go for it. No one else to talk.
So 9 times 2 is 18 minus 1. That's
Can't minus, can we? When we did equivalent, the timesing and dividing, that's good, but we can't. Remember, we don't add and subtract to make equivalent fractions. So unfortunately, the minus 1 doesn't work. No other ideas? Right, let me tell you something else, like bring another piece of knowledge that you've got. How do you say this, Dash? Okay, x over 17. Is that what it actually means? Oh, x 17ths works. What's another way of saying it? What is a fraction in terms of a mathematical operation? It's division, right? So could I say that 5 divided by 9 gives me the same answer as x divided by 17? Does that make sense? Is that true? We don't write it like this. We don't do it. We write division like this now, with fractions. But do you remember how we convert into a decimal? What do you do? Just divide. 5 divided by 9. That's how we do it. Now, before you do that, this is the next step for this one, which is, well, I want to know what x is before you divide by 17. So, what can I do? Well, if I don't want it to have been divided by 17, I need to times by 17, right? And I have to do the same on the other side, otherwise it's not equal anymore. Does that make sense? Now, what does that give me? Well, I've now got 5 divided by 9, and then I times by 17, and I'll get the answer for x. Okay, now let me think of it in a slightly different way. If I use this method instead, what I did was, instead of writing the division symbol, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to times by 17. I'm going to times by 17 on this side. And then I end up with 5 times 17 divided by 9 is equal to x. Right? Now, if you just do 5 times 17, what do you get?
80.
Pardon? 85? And then if you do 85 divided by 9, what do you get? Those people that haven't got their calculators to do it by the way, just get the same answer, yeah? So what do you get? 9.x
4.
equals. Carry? It says in the question, round to the nearest 100. So what would that be? 9.44. That's the hundredths column. Yeah? Now, do I have to round the 4 up? Because the next number is a 4, so we can just say 9. How do you feel about that one? Okay. Yeah, and I also, how about if I do this one, if I tell you this as well. So he's remembered that that is 944 over 100, but actually there's something else, which is 85 divided by 9. Well, how many times can you divide 9 into 85 exactly? 9. So could I say that that is equal to 9 whole ones? How many? Not. So what's 9 times 9? 81. So you've got, how many left? 4 left. So it'd be 4 9ths. Does that make sense? If you do 4 divided by 9 on your calculator, what do you get? You get the 0.444, yeah? Like we did. Some people aren't doing it. I can't believe you're just so, like, I want to say lazy, but I guess it's not lazy. It's like, all I'm asking you to do is 4 divided by 9. All right? And some of you are sat with a calculator in front of you, just not bothering. Right? Yeah, all right. How do you feel about, so 9.44 is good. This is great if you can get to that stage. How do you feel about finding that unknown value there then? Yeah? Right. Let's do a few more examples. Do you need to write that down, by the way, or? Yeah? Okay, let me put that up. Okay, guys. So this first one, equivalent ratios. You get the same idea with the same with fractions, right? Basically, we did. That was a nice simple one. They do start getting a bit more challenging though. So let's have a look at E, which is H has been divided by 57. There's the clue. And that equals 11 divided by 19. So what do we have to do? First of all, can I multiply 19 to get 57? So do 57. We do 57 divided by 19. What do we get? 3. So if we times by 3 that way, then we can also do times by 3 that way. And we get h is equal to, gave you a calculator so you could do these things. H is equal to 33 again. Now let me just, Bo, I hope you're with us, yeah? Let me just go the alternatively. If I do h divided by 57 equals 11 divided by 19, well, what if I were to times both sides by 57? And you do 57 times 11 divided by 19, what do you get? 33. So h should equal 57 times 11 divided by 19, and we get h is equal to 33. So that's another option for how to do it. Well, the first one is nice, it's easy, but it's not always going to happen. We need to be open-minded that we have to do. Yeah, actually, I don't think confused. Whoops. Where it's like the other one I did, h, instead of saying h over, I'm saying h is divided by 57. How do you get rid of a divide by 57? Times by 50. Why does timesing by 57 get rid of divide by 57? Going back to the same number. So h divided by 57 times by 57 leaves me with just h. But this equal sign means must be the same on both sides. Equals means equivalent, right? So if I times this one by 57, what must I do to this sum? Times by 57. So that's what I've done. 57 times 11 divided by 19. Question. This is 11.
Oh.
Sorry, I did think that potentially. Yeah, does that make more sense now? Okay. Sometimes my writing that's okay. So now we've got a tricky one. 3 divided by 7 and 10 divided by y. So let's have a look. 3 divided by 7 is equal to 10 divided by 1. The idea is based on what we've already been doing. It's a bit trickier one to explain this one, but we did do one like this to start with. The trouble is that 3 doesn't go up to 10. But remember, we can't add or subtract, we can only multiply and divide. Then again. Oh, well, what can you multiply to get up to? What?
3 times 10 divided by.
I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to sort of go down his route. I'm going to use equivalent fraction. What if I did times both by 10? I would get 30 over equals still 10 over y, yeah? All right. Now what do we do? Divide by 3. If I divide by 3, now y would then equal 70 divided by 3, right? The answer. 23.33. So there it comes. Does that make sense what we did there? So this one was a double stepper. That's it, it's done. Good. Because do you understand why I'm allowed to write y is equal to 70 divided by 3? Because it's got this bit, look. So if I know that y is equal to the bottom number, well, if 30 divided by 3 is equal to 10, I already know tops are the same, therefore the bottoms have to also be the same. Yeah? Make sense?
Yeah.
It's quite a challenging exercise, this. It's quite a challenging end to the topic. So, over to you, which is.
It was 7. H, can you do the same thing?
Well, the difficulty with this one is the y is the thing that's dividing by, you're dividing by y. Whereas the other one, it was the letter divided by a number. Yeah? So it's a. I did hear someone say this, so, right, I'm going to say this in your notes. Can you do this? Because this is important for tests. Isn't it? Be careful, all right? We do this one. With the letter on the bottom, I can't do this. Divide by 10 and get y equals 3 divided by 7 divided by 10. Right, be careful. Cannot do this. Why? Why can't I divide by 10 to leave the y? It's not. Pardon? Okay, so remember, why did we do up here? Why did I times by 57? Brooklyn, they focused. Why did I times by 57? When you say bottom number, do you mean h has been divided by 57? So the opposite of dividing by 57 is multiply by 57. Why am I not allowed to do divide by 10? Because it's not, yeah, it's not, there's no time, it's not getting rid of anything, is it? So the y is, what we've actually got here is 3 divided by 7 is equal to 10 divided by y. Right? That and the same. So if I now divide that by 10, does that get rid of that? No, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. It would just keep going, wouldn't it? I'd have to then do 3 divided by 7 divided by 10 is equal to, yeah, 10 divided by y divided by 10. Exactly like you just said. So it would just keep going and going and going. The divide by 10 doesn't get rid of anything. So there's no point doing it. So what was it? This is a very be careful, right? That you can't, people think, oh, fraction, you just times by the 10 or divide by, it doesn't work that way. So this is the way, one of the ways, there are others. So this here, look, sorry about where I'm putting it, bit disorganised. How many 3s go into 70? So there are 23 3s, yeah? Right, how many is that? What's 23 lots of 3? 69. So how much is left over? 1. So there's 23 with 1 divided by 3 left to go. That's it.
What about the 10?
No, but that's what y is. We've already worked out 10 is not there anymore. We know that y is 23 and 1/3.
So you're just gonna get rid of
No, I don't get it. Y is 23 and a third. So, let me just, then, so what I would say is, if I'm writing a calculation, 3 divided by 7 is the same thing as 10 divided by 23 and a third. Yeah? That's what it means. I've just figured that out. But it's a bit messy because I don't normally have fractions in. So you can check that out if you like. Can you work out as a decimal, what is 3 divided by 7? Do 3 divided by 7 for me. What do you get? 0.428. Okay, now do 10 divided by 23.33333. What do you get?
0.428557.
So now we know we're right. So it's not about getting rid of the 10, it's what do I divide 10 by? Right, you do seem to be getting it now. So let's what I would like you to do is we've got practice 3. So you'll see I just did these one A-E-I. We didn't do M. Do you want me to do M with the decimal? Well, it's just the same thing as this one, but with decimals. Let's do it. Let's do it together. You sure?
Yeah.
Let's do it together. Okay. Let's have a look at one more together, and then I'll let you do all the others yourself. So can you write it down for me? So I don't need to memorize. Right, guys. So this is one of those that decimals make it look horrible, but it's not. It's no different from anything else. So we have this. Anyone want to give it a go? Yes, you can. Love it. I was thinking, can I say that? Let me tell you this, right, guys. This might be super helpful. Hang on. Is 1/2 the same as 2/4? Okay. Is 2/1 the same as 4/2? Is 2/3 the same as 6/9? Is 3/2 the same as 9/6? So, what can we do? Oh,
Oops.
buddy, we can actually. We could have done it for this one as well. But a really nice trick. I wouldn't have told you this, but Sue's dad accidentally asked it. You can write both sides the other way up. So I can write 6.8 divided by 1.2 is equal to C divided by 3.4.
You can do that now.
Now what we need to do is multiply by.
You can do 3.4 divided by.
What do we need? Oh, I've got C divided by 3.4. I only want C, so instead of divide by 3.4, I need to times it by 3.4. That gets rid of that on this side. What do I have to do on this side? Times by 3.4. So we're going to do 3.4 times 6.8 divided by 1.2. And we get C is equal to 10.
What?
How did I do it? It's calculators. Ah, that's the button you press if you want to get a 10. What have you got? 3.4 times 6.8 divided by
6, 6, 6.
So if I had to write that the nearest 100, what would I write it as? 90.2. Because I get this bit, but the bit rounds me up. Get those, this 6. The next 6 rounds this 6 up. There you go. So let's just add to our notes. Yes, we can write it upside down. And that helps, which it does. That actually is a very common thing we do with algebra. Right? So what we're saying, by the way, is this equals this. So 1/2 is equal to 2/4, 2/4. But this is equal to this. We're not saying that they are the same, but we're just saying that that side equals that side. We're not saying this is the same as this. No, it's different. So you got everything written down, have you? You've got a lot of catching up to do as well as this, right? Last you need to do is have this be on top of your list of catch up. All right. Now with 10 minutes left.
Ready?
We did this one. Yeah.
We did all the way up until
3,
F.
wait, what's 0?
So this is G, just to check. Just a quick check in. This means 26 gets divided by 81. It's the same thing, A divided by 100. I don't want to divide by 100, so I have to times by 100 both sides. So A is equal to 26 divided by 81, then divide by 100. Sorry, times by 100, not divide. Alright, and I get the answer 32.098, blah blah blah, but we've got to round it. So this rounds that up. So it makes it 32.1.
8, 0, 31.
what?
32.10.
Not dirty.
Just go through B. B was a nice simple one, guys. 8 to 7 is equal to 24 to x. This is nice because 8, well, I did see Emma, which is perfectly good, writing it like this. She wrote it like that, which just helped. You don't need to, but it's the same thing. Times by 3, which means it's times by 3. So we get x must equal 20.
Huh?
It's just instead of.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I just get you to do something for me? Because we ought to get into the habit of this in assessments. Let's just do a quick check. 8 divided by 7 is equal to what?
8 divided by 7 is
1.142857.
And what is 24 divided by 21?
1.5.
So the upstep answer, that's how we. Okay. Yep. You get the same answer. You'd end up with, if I did that as 7 divided by 8 equals x divided by 24, times 24. It would have been 7 divided by 8 times 24. What do you get? You get 21. That's pretty. Same answer. Up to you.